Am I the a-hole for refusing to give my daughter back to her biological mom? My wife, 34, and I, 35, have adopted our first child, Susan, over 7 years ago. 2 years later, her little sister, let's call her Lynn, we haven't had any contact with the bio moms. But about a year ago, Susan got curious. She asked more and more questions about her biological mom. And as she was about to hit school, my wife and I decided that she deserved to meet this woman. So after 6 years of having completely no contact, I searched everywhere until I finally found her and informed her about the situation. She agreed to meeting Susan. Before the meeting, I was beyond nervous. I have always been afraid of having to introduce the children to their biological mom one day. The first meeting went great. Susan and the biological mom got along well. As time went by, Susan spent much more frequently time with her, and soon enough Lynn began going with her. Even though she isn't her biological child and both loved her, she became somewhat like a fun aunt to them. This was definitely something my wife and I had to get used to. But as long as the children were happy, we were okay with it. But one night after the bio mom has brought the children home and they went to bed, she asked me if she could speak me in the living room. Then she said that nothing brings her more joy than taking care of the children, and asked if she could have Susan back now that she finds herself in a better position than when she gave her away. I was too shocked to say anything at first, so I said nothing but, No, you can't have Susan. She's my daughter. A little bit pissed, she explained that she was only asking for one of them and that I would still have the other one, and that it's a bitch move to try and keep her child all to myself and that I was selfish. At this point, I completely lost it because I thought my biggest fear had just come true. I started screaming at her something along the lines that she isn't entitled to have the child she chose to give away, and that I love Susan, and after years of raising and loving her, I don't have to give her back. Now, biological mom started screaming back at me, calling me selfish, saying that I have everything and I can't even let her have the one joy in her life. I told her that she is a child and not a trophy that can be passed around, and that I could never give Susan away, and that if she can't let the idea of getting her back go, she will never be able to see her again. She left with the words that she definitely won't give up, and that if she wants Susan, she will get her. The next weeks, she kept contacting me, telling me what a bitch I was for not giving her Susan, and threatened to sue us if we wouldn't give her to her. The children began asking more and more often what happened to the bio mom, and I don't know what I am supposed to tell them. I am extremely scared because I want to keep the children out of any legal fights at all costs. What do you think? Am I the a-hole for not giving the bio mom the child back and then cutting her out of their lives? Top comments. Here's a comment from Throwaway for MILBS. The kids are too old to not find an age-appropriate way to talk to them about this OB, and they are too young to just unpack it all either. So you are in a tough spot, not the a-hole, but seek out a child psychologist who can help you strategize in a way to communicate what's going on to your kids. You need a licensed professional for this one, not a gaggle of internet strangers. I promise you. Here's another comment from Lex Taylonis. And for goodness sake, get a lawyer. Inform them of the situation and see if there is anything they can do to head this off. Also, let the schools know so she doesn't try to pick the children up. You're not the a-hole. Bio mom, asshole. No boundaries, no grip on reality. Here's a reply from Throwaway for MILBS. Yeah, it was almost a soft why from me, just on the grounds that like saying nothing and doing nothing or not options anymore. But that doesn't make her an asshole. She's just scared, and justifiably so. So OP, please find a child psychologist and a lawyer today, please. Next story. Am I the a-hole for saying my dad doesn't need to apologize for almost ruining our wedding? My beautiful wife and I got married a few weeks ago, and she's still annoyed with me about the situation. My dad asked my mom for a divorce at the wedding, which I get is pretty messed up. But my mom's very reserved in public. I heard them fighting a bit during pictures, and he asked if she loved him more than her job, and she answered that honestly, she doesn't, and doesn't think she could ever love any person more than her job. He took his wedding band off and handed it to her. I guess my mom told her parents, and they were the ones who caused the scene. They approached my dad and yelled at him that he's a piece of shit. Everyone did turn and stare, but the groomsmen broke it up pretty quickly. My wife was furious and wanted everyone involved kicked out. My grandparents were asked to leave, but I wanted my dad to stay. My mom left shortly after on her own. My wife has told me that it affects how she views my dad and she lost respect. I have more sympathy for him because I think he spent a lot of years knowing that job was the love of my mom's life, and that has got to be an awful feeling. Yesterday, I commented that I can't believe my parents are both dating when they've only been separated for a couple weeks. My wife brought it up that my dad almost ruined our wedding and he should really apologize. And he's selfish. I said she was being heartless and she needs to understand that he was hurt and not trying to ruin anything. And I said he doesn't owe us an apology when he didn't cause the drama. She accused me of not caring enough about our wedding. Top comments. Here's a comment from Vandana. You're the a-hole. Your dad started this. He asked an inflammatory question. Your mom responded in a likely predictable way, and then your dad made it an even bigger deal by dramatically removing his wedding ring and asking for a divorce? Seriously? You think he is the victim here? Yes, your father and mother and grandparents owe you and your wife is a huge apology for being so self-absorbed that they couldn't behave for a single event that was supposed to be about you and your wife. And if you continue to defend your dad and act like he did nothing wrong, you are indeed an a-hole. Here's another comment from Good Girls Grace. He definitely wasn't a victim. He might be hurt by his ex's choice, but that doesn't give him a pass to make a scene at someone else's wedding, no less. OP's poor wife, his stunt must have ruined the joy and the experience for her. Here's a reply from Vandana. Absolutely, I get it. I would also be hurt if my husband said that to me. But it sounds like by OP's comments, this is a very obvious fact that his mom is married to her job. OP's dad knew exactly what her answer would be. Choosing that moment to ask and then take his ring off was selfish. You what that moment would turn into, and he chose to do it at his kid's wedding. If I was Opie's wife, I would have been furious. And then even more furious that he chose to allow the instigator of the entire ordeal stay and continually defend him like he had no part in it. Here's another comment from Neat Stitch Ride. Right, it's not like he just found out she loved her job that day. He's known for years, so why pick this day? Another comment from Jittery Raccoon. I was seated at a wedding table with a man who'd been divorced a couple of years. While speeches were going on, he was getting quick drunk and saying marriage was a sham a little too loudly. He was also someone's plus one. Like, just don't come to a stranger's wedding if you hate marriage and weddings so much.